네, 38년 베테랑 주식 전문가죠. 버나디 케인과 함께하는 미국 주식 시간입니다. 그동안 미국 시장, 우리 시장에 알려지지 않았던 그런 종목들 소개해드리고 있고, 최근에는 우리 한국 투자자들이 가장 사랑하는 종목들 설명해드리고 있습니다. 오늘의 종목은 바로 구글인데요. 알파벳이라는 이름으로 상장이 되어 있습니다. 알파벳 C, 알파벳 어떤 알파벳인지 이렇게 여러 가지 종목이 좀 상장이 되어 있는데, 구글의 인덱싱이라는 그런 핵심의 뜻을 담고 있습니다. 알파벳은 또 주가 한 종목당 주식 가격도 되게 높아서 사실 하나 사는 것도 좀 굉장히 부담스럽거든요. 그럼에도 불구하고 너무나 탄탄한 실적과 성장성 때문에 우리 국내 서학기 및 투자자들이 정말 많이 사들이고 있는 종목 중에 하나입니다. 알파벳에 대한 설명 들어볼까요?
Google or Alphabet has been a great performer over time. Google's main businesses are still generating robust growth, and its stock still looks reasonably valued. The company faces a lot of regulatory headwinds, but it still should survive the coming storm. And by regulatory headwinds, I mean antitrust and monopoly lawsuits. Google stock has jumped about 60% so far in 2021. But if we look at the breakdown of who owns the stock, the institutional share of the ownership has weakened somewhat this year. This performance has been very different than the performance between early 2016 and the beginning of this year. Between early 2016 and through the end of 2020, Google really did not outperform the market. Everybody thinks about the Faang stocks and how valuable they all are, but Google didn't really outperform the market from 2016 through 2020. This year, it's outperformed the market. The two real questions are, why did the stock perform so well after COVID? And will this outperformance continue?
네, 일단 알파벳에 대한 간단한 설명 들어봤고요. 앞으로 구글이 또 어떤 곳에서 실적을 키우고 어떤 곳에서 성장을 할지가 가장 궁금한 것 같습니다. 그리고 지금 이 화면 보고 계시는 분들, 유튜브 통해서 시청하시는 분들도 계실 텐데 유튜브가 구글의 핵심적인 캐시카우가 아닐까 싶습니다. 이 구글 어떤 성장성 가지고 있을까요?
Number one, it's a dominant force in online advertising. This is a Google world. Google includes the world's most popular online search engine. It has a mobile operating system, Android, which is a market leader. It has streaming video sites, YouTube it owns. It has a web browser that's the best in the business, Chrome. And it's got an email platform that so many people use, Gmail. Google will likely account for 29% of all digital ad spending worldwide this year. That is a tremendous number. Facebook is second at 25%, but everybody else in the world is in single digits. Lately, though, Amazon is starting to take market share from Google in this internet search-related advertising space. Number two, the growth of the Google Cloud revenues were $8 billion in 2019, $13 billion in 2020, and $9 billion in the first half of 2021. They're growing great. But it's not profitable yet, and it lags behind Amazon and Microsoft, both in terms of how much and in their growth share. So it's not gaining share compared to Amazon and Microsoft. Google's going to continue to invest in this space. This division has the best revenue growth, but it's underperforming on income in this division. Unlike Amazon and Microsoft, Google lost $600 million in the third quarter in its cloud division. Now, that's a lot less than it lost last year, but it's still a significant amount. Number three, Google's core businesses look strong, but there's a series of antitrust battles that could derail this growth potentially. The Justice Department filed an antitrust lawsuit against Google for its alleged monopolization of the online search and search-based advertising markets. And then B, it's also reportedly preparing to file a second antitrust lawsuit to address Google's dominance of certain advertising technologies. Also, the European Commission accused Google and fined Google of leveraging those platforms to drive its competitors out of their respective markets. Google also faces additional antitrust battles in Australia, India, and South Korea. Google's antitrust challenges cannot be ignored, I think. But I also think they're not going to cancel out its strengths. Yet Google will likely keep growing, even if it gets hit by fines and new restrictions along the way.
네, 구글이 앞으로 성장 동력을 확보할 수 있는 그런 사업 분야는 바로 클라우드 사업이었고요. 그리고 미국에서 계속 이 기술주들에 대해서 독점에 대한 그런 법을 강화시키고 있다는 점들, 그런 규제를 당하고 있다는 점이 이 구글에게는 리스크로 다가올 수가 있겠습니다. 자, 미국의 대표적인 기술주 하면은 팡 주식을 모두 생각하실 텐데 그 중에 이 G, 마지막 G는 구글이 아닙니다. A입니다, 여러분. 알파벳 A 이렇게 포함되어 있는데 그렇다면 이 팡 주식 중에서도 이 구글이 갖고 있는 이 주가 성장률은 얼마나 좀 됐을까요?
Google is a Faang stock. Everybody thinks Faang stocks are great, okay? And if we take a look at some windows, we can find a window that we really like each one of those stocks in the Faang universe. So, but if we look at the last 5 years, only this year did Google outperform the Nasdaq index. And we want stocks that outperform the Nasdaq index. Between 2016 and the end of 2020, Google actually underperformed the Nasdaq index. When we go back and look at Google stock over time, its great growth was when it was a smaller company between 2004 and 2008. It wasn't the big name, but that stock really appreciated between 2004 and 2008. Now, if we look at the stock chart right here that we have, you can see that this chart looks great, but the window that really looks good is 2021. The other times it still went up. It just went up less than the Nasdaq index. And to show this on a basis where we can break it down, this is a chart on the top, the same chart that we just looked at, where it's the share price of Google over the last 5 years from, say, late 2016 through now. The bottom chart is a comparison of Google versus the Nasdaq index, Google divided by the Nasdaq index. And if Google was outperforming the Nasdaq index, that ratio would be going higher. We can see that since the end of 2016, the beginning of 2017, all the way through the end of 2020, the stock either chopped around a little bit. That's where my oval circle is, where it kind of outperformed, then it kind of underperformed, then it kind of outperformed, then it kind of underperformed the market. But when we go back and take that period where it chopped around, and we go back and look at the stock price on top, we can still see that the stock continued to grind higher. It just didn't grind materially higher. And then in 2020, the stock actually significantly underperformed the market, particularly after the COVID bottom in April of that year, 2020. But since 2021, the stock has gone great. And I think that stock has gone great on the heels of the continued investment in cloud technology. Even though Google's losing money, it's still investing quite a bit, and it's the number 3 cloud technology warehouse. So it's still a significant event.
네, 그동안 나스닥과 비교해 봤을 때 오히려 구글의 주가는 떨어지는 모습이었다. 2016년부터 2020년까지라고 말씀을 해주셨는데 그럼에도 불구하고 이런 상황 속에서도 계속 이 클라우드 서비스에 투자하고 앞으로 좀 성장할 것으로 구글은 전망하고 있다. 이렇게 보여주셨습니다. 그리고 구글의 또 한 가지 성장 동력이 있는데 구글의 자율주행 자회사인 웨이모입니다. 이 웨이모로 대표되고 있는 구글의 자율주행차 사업은 어떻게 진행되고 있을까요?
Okay, so we have to think about where that growth is going to go looking forward. Where is Google going to grow? Where are they going to outperform their industries? Where are they going to outperform expectations of growth? Are they going to grow more than, are they going to capture more than 29% of the digital advertising space? I don't know. Another thing is, what other things are Google doing? Well, Google's got the Waymo autonomous vehicle business. How is that business going? How much of Google's ability to impact that self-driving car project, how much are they going to be able to beat their competition? How much is that going to be added to their own revenues? Well, in early 2018, there were analysts that projected Waymo's long-term valuation at around $100 billion. Expectations for autonomous vehicles, though, have been lowered recently for Google. Waymo in early March raised $2.25 billion in funding from outside investors. When they did that, they had to disclose a valuation in the funding. They didn't disclose that publicly. They disclosed that to the investor that made that $2.25 billion. And there are some reports that that valuation now is only $30 billion. Another thing is the Waymo CEO, the head of the autonomous vehicle unit since 2015, resigned in early April of this year. So another question is the performance of Google's hardware business. It's battling Apple's smartphones and their technology hardware-wise, and it's battling Amazon in their smart home appliances because Google's got Alexa. These are not small competitors, and that's some of the things we have to think about when we look for beyond expectation growth in both revenue and income.
네, 마지막으로 구글에 대한 투자 포인트까지 짚어보도록 하겠습니다.
So when we think about what the takeaway is for Google, we have to think about where are they going to grow and grow faster than everybody else? And what parts of their business are they going to grow? Are they going to be able to monetize more things that they have? Are they going to be able to extract more information out of their Google Chrome, Google email to be able to find that? Or are they going to find battles with commissions and justice departments regarding antitrust, monopolizations? That's the takeaway. Where is this growth going to come from, and how is it going to outperform expectations?